The sun was setting over a green meadow, casting a warm orange glow over the rolling hills and the little village below. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming wildflowers and the soft chirping of birds. In a small clearing, surrounded by tall trees and a gentle stream, lived the 3 little pigs. They were brothers, and each one had a unique personality. The first little pig, named Percy, was a bit of a dreamer. He loved to lie in the soft grass and watch the clouds drift lazily by. He would often get lost in thought, imagining all the wonderful things he could build and create. Percy was a hard worker, but he liked to take his time and make sure everything was just right. The second little pig, named Paisley, was a bit of a perfectionist. She was very particular about her home and her garden, and she spent hours every day making sure everything was tidy and organized. Paisley was a great cook, and she loved to make delicious meals for her brothers. She would often say, "A home is not a home without a warm meal and a cozy bed." The third little pig, named Pascal, was a bit of a free spirit. He loved to explore the meadow and the forest, and he was always getting into mischief. Pascal was very curious, and he loved to learn new things. He would often ask his brothers, "What's on the other side of the hill?" or "What's that noise in the woods?" The 3 little pigs lived in a small house made of straw, which Percy had built with his own 2 hands. It was a cozy little home, with a thatched roof and a garden full of colorful flowers. The pigs spent their days playing, working, and enjoying each other's company. As the sun began to set, they would sit on the porch, watching the stars twinkle to life in the night sky. As the evening drew to a close, the pigs would say good night to each other and snuggle into their cozy beds. Percy would whisper, "I'm so grateful for this lovely home and my wonderful brothers." Paisley would reply, "I'm grateful for the delicious food we have to eat and the warm beds we sleep in." Pascal would just smile and say, "I'm grateful for the adventures we have tomorrow." The house was quiet and still, filled with the peaceful sound of the pigs' gentle breathing. The moon was rising high in the sky, casting a silver glow over the meadow. The stars were shining brightly, like diamonds in the darkness. It was a magical time, a time for dreams and rest. As the night deepened, the pigs' eyelids grew heavy, and they drifted off to sleep, surrounded by the soothing sounds of the night. The wind rustled through the trees, whispering a gentle lullaby. The stream babbled softly, its gentle voice weaving in and out of the pigs' dreams. The world was at peace, and the 3 little pigs were safe in their cozy home, surrounded by the beauty of nature. The darkness was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers, and the pigs' hearts were filled with joy and contentment. They knew they were loved, and they knew they were safe. As they slept, their dreams were filled with visions of happy times, and their rest was deep and refreshing. The night was a time for rest, and the pigs were grateful for the peace and quiet of their little home. In the distance, a wolf was watching the pigs' home, his eyes gleaming in the dark. But the pigs were unaware of the danger that lurked outside, and they slept peacefully, surrounded by the beauty of the night. The moon continued to shine, casting a silver glow over the meadow, and the stars twinkled like diamonds in the sky. The world was at peace, and the three little pigs were safe in their cozy home, surrounded by the magic of the night. The wolf's eyes gleamed in the dark, but he did not move. He was a curious creature, and he loved to watch the pigs home. He would often sit in the shadows, listening to their laughter and their conversations. The wolf's name was Waya, and he was a gentle soul. He meant no harm to the pigs, but he was fascinated by their cozy little home. As he watched, a soft breeze rustled through the trees, carrying the sweet scent of blooming flowers. Waya's nose twitched, and he closed his eyes, breathing in the fragrance. It was a peaceful moment, and Waya felt his heart fill with calm. As the night wore on, the pigs continued to sleep, surrounded by the soothing sounds of the night. The wind rustled through the trees, whispering a gentle lullaby. The stream babbled softly, its gentle voice weaving in and out of the pigs' dreams. The world was at peace, and the three little pigs were safe in their cozy home. Inside the house, Percy was dreaming of delicious meals, his imagination running wild with visions of roasted vegetables and freshly baked bread. Paisley was dreaming of beautiful gardens, her mind filled with pictures of colorful flowers and lush green grass. Pascal, on the other hand, was dreaming of adventure, his heart racing with excitement as he imagined exploring the forest and climbing tall trees. As the first light of dawn began to creep over the horizon, Wyatt stood up, stretching his long, lean body. He arched his back, extending his claws, and let out a gentle yawn. The pigs, still fast asleep, did not hear him. Wyatt padded softly through the meadow, his paws making barely a sound on the dewy grass. He walked to the edge of the forest, where the trees grew tall and the underbrush was thick. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming wildflowers, and Wyatt's nose twitched with pleasure. He wandered through the forest, taking in the sights and sounds of the natural world. The birds were beginning to sing, their melodies filling the air with joy and music. The trees swayed gently in the breeze, their leaves rustling softly. As the sun rose higher in the sky, Wyatt came to a clearing. In the center of the clearing stood an old, gnarled tree, its branches twisted and tangled. Wyatt approached the tree, his eyes fixed on a small door that was nestled in the trunk. The door was made of wood, and it was adorned with intricate carvings of leaves and vines. Wyatt reached out a paw and gently knocked on the door. The door creaked open, and a small, wise-looking owl peered out. "Good morning, Wyatt," said the owl, in a soft, rumbling voice. "What brings you to my home today?" Wyatt smiled, his tongue lolling out of his mouth. "I came to visit, my dear owl," he said. "I love to watch the pigs home, and I often wonder what they are doing." The owl nodded, her big, round eyes twinkling with understanding. "The pigs are good creatures," she said. "They live in harmony with nature, and they bring joy to all who know them." Wyatt nodded, feeling a sense of peace wash over him. He sat down at the base of the tree, and the owl joined him, perching on a branch above. Together, they watched the sun rise higher in the sky, casting a warm glow over the meadow. The pigs, still fast asleep, were unaware of the gentle conversation that was taking place just a short distance away. But as the morning wore on, they would soon be waking up, ready to start a new day filled with adventure and wonder. As the sun continued to rise, its warm rays began to peek over the horizon, casting a gentle glow over the meadow. The pigs, still fast asleep, were slowly starting to stir. Percy was the first to wake up, stretching his little body and yawning widely. He looked around the cozy room, taking in the familiar sights and sounds of his home. Paisley and Pascal soon followed, waking up to the sound of birds singing outside their window. The three little pigs got out of bed and began to get ready for the day. They washed their faces and brushed their teeth before heading to the kitchen to make some breakfast. Wyatt and the owl watched from a distance as the pigs moved around their home, starting their day. The owl flew down from her branch and perched on Wyatt's shoulder, nuzzling his ear gently. "It's going to be a beautiful day," she said, in her soft, rumbling voice. Wyatt smiled, feeling a sense of peace wash over him. He stood up and began to walk back to the meadow, the owl still perched on his shoulder. The pigs, now finished with their breakfast, were starting to make plans for the day. Percy wanted to go for a walk, Paisley wanted to tend to her garden, and Pascal wanted to go on an adventure. They decided to do a little bit of everything, and set out into the meadow, feeling happy and content. As they walked, the sun shone down on them, casting a warm glow over the landscape. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming wildflowers and the sound of birds singing. The pigs wandered through the meadow, taking in the sights and sounds of the natural world. They walked along the stream, watching as the water flowed gently over the rocks. They climbed to the top of a small hill and looked out over the meadow, taking in the breathtaking view. As the day wore on, the pigs began to feel tired and decided it was time to head back home. They said goodbye to the meadow and thanked the sun for its warm rays. As they approached their home, Wyatt and the owl were waiting for them, sitting quietly in the shade. The pigs smiled, feeling happy to see their friends. They sat down next to them and watched as the sun began to set, casting a peaceful glow over the landscape. The air grew quiet, and the sounds of the meadow began to fade away. The pigs closed their eyes, feeling the warmth of the sun on their faces. Wyatt and the owl sat silently, watching over the pigs as they drifted off to sleep. The world was at peace, and everything was still. The stars began to twinkle in the sky, and the moon rose high, casting a silver glow over the meadow. The pigs slept soundly, surrounded by their friends, and the gentle sounds of the night. The wind whispered softly through the trees, and the stream babbled quietly, its gentle voice a lullaby to the sleeping pigs. Everything was quiet and still, and the world was at peace.